Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Thank you very much for joining me. Our patient is X670 and this is the board on which we replaced a CPU socket. This is AM5 and we used the loads socket. I have a lot of these, right? I also have the ones that say, what was it, CC or something like that, like a little logo over here. They seem the same, they weigh the same, they look the same, so I think they are the same. What would not be the same would be a Foxconn, original Foxconn sockets. They are 2 grams heavier, so they drop differently. They are also reinforced, that's why they're 2 grams heavier. But the solder on them is lead free. So you need higher temperatures. These sockets, they tend to drop at like 180, 185. But by drop, I mean, they slightly sit because they're not heavy enough. So anyways, the customer received the board and I don't remember exactly what was the problem, why it doesn't work. But let's take a look, because normally I do give it a little look under the microscope after cleaning to ensure that it is clean, right? That there is no flux like on the, typically you'll see a little flux on the plastic over here. If you look closer, you can see flux on the pins, which can cause the board to not work because of that. Right, if there's too much flux left inside. You can also see that on the edges over here, right? If you see any flux at the edges, then that's not good. I don't really see any. Maybe here a little bit. I'm not sure, because sometimes it's just like some kind of discoloration or stuff like that. I don't know, maybe that is a little bit of flux residue. But I don't know what the board does. I think I vaguely remember that it was the memory issue, right, after the socket replacement. And that could be the messed up replacement, because without a proper CPU, or CPU talks directly to the memory, right, from these pins over here, we go directly here. That's why memory slots need to be close to the CPU. We want those wires to be as short as we can get them. And now checking alignment. Let's see. I don't know. Is it misaligned? Because now we're looking at the socket that is already replaced, right? Usually I do that before I replace the socket, so I remember how it was aligned, right? So in this case, we see that this line is visible, but the line on the other side, not so much. It's sitting on the line. The same at the top. So here we don't see the line, right? But here we do. Over here, yeah. I mean, those lines not always going to be exactly around the socket, so that's why I do this visual before I replace the socket, so I know how to align it. But when I do align it on the machine, I don't have the advantage of using the microscope, so I just use my eyes, which are not the best. But what are you gonna do? What is this? Oh, that's from the cotton swab. Yeah, I was cleaning around it, I guess. Okay, so let's do this. Let's check the resistance of vCore, and well, it's open. Should it be open? Sometimes there are resistors, and it will show you some resistance without the CPU. But typically, or in many cases, you will not see anything over here. Yeah, oh well, on vCore, which I say is good, because if there was a solder blob and we're shorting positive and negative, or vCore and ground, we would see the short over here, and the computer would, the vCore would just turn off. So the computer would behave like it has no CPU on it. This one is not shorted here. Let's see, this is probably memory. Also open. Oh, okay. My bad. My probes were connected to the current meter. Okay, again, what do we have here? 600. Oh, well, it's growing because the caps are charging. And now it's open. And now we have case. It's all over the place, but no short, right? So this is what we're checking for. We don't want to see the shorts over here. Yeah, there is some load on the vCore, but nothing abnormal. On the memory, 2.53K. It's kind of hard to see because we do have a lot of capacitance on this rail. Actually, let's see what is our capacitance on this rail. It looks like it's too much for this meter. We only go to 50 millifarads. I saw it flash at like 90, but that's beyond the range. So you can see how much capacitance we have over here. So the resistance measurements are always going to be all over the place when you have this much capacitance. Now let's just quickly see the resistance of each line. So let's check 3 volts, 131 ohms. On 3 volts, that should be fine. It seems a bit low to me, but on 3 volts it should be fine. On 12 volts, we should have a lot higher resistance. Well, it's not huge. It's actually a little low. 1.3K. It seems a bit low to me. You can see what I'm doing here. The 5 volts over here. 5 volts and 12 volts have pretty much the same resistance. That is suspicious. Well, it is growing. We got 1.8. Again, there's going to be a fair amount of capacitance, but not as huge as you do on the vCore. vCore is going to have a huge capacitance. Okay, 1.8K. We had 1.3 on 3.3 or 3 volts. I'm not sure about this, but why is this board over here? I don't normally fix motherboards. I mean, unless the motherboard is here for a repair, not the socket replacement service. We had one yesterday that has a parasitic draw on the battery circuit. Very unusual issue. I'm still kind of working on that. But this one came in just for the socket replacement service. As far as I've seen, and as far as you've seen in the video, it was successful. It went well. The socket sat. I look at the socket now, and everything looks okay. But the customer said, can you do it again? Sure. I don't see why not. So this time I'm going to use a different socket, slightly different, but I don't have Foxconn sockets. And we'll see. I don't think this is the socket issue, but it could be. I don't know. Did the board work before? Because typically I don't get boards where, I mean, yeah, sometimes I do. The board has been working fine, but someone was replacing the CPU or something, and it got stuck to something. It dropped to the socket, and it messed up the socket. So then, if it doesn't work after the socket replacement, then most likely it's a socket. But there's also a possibility. So when we replace the socket, we heat up the board significantly, and and this whole area just kind of deforms, right? It bulges. No way around that. And those tiny trays that go to the memory over here, right? We can't see them because we have the ground plane on top, but those traces are inside, and they connect to the memory. Once this deforms, there is a possibility that one of those traces will break. That's why there's no guarantee on this. Now this one, as far as I remember, this one let loose at 195. So this was a very successful replacement as far as the socket replacements go. So I don't think the second replacement is going to do anything here, but I said, okay, I'm not even going to charge for it. Let's just satisfy both our curiosities and see if that's going to help. All right, let's get to it. Alrighty, we should be done. This time I tapped on the socket and it looks to me like it's aligned a little better. I'm not sure what temperature I used last time. I didn't review the footage, but I went to 225 because it wouldn't let loose below 220. So I went a little higher, and when I started heating it, I noticed that the leftover flux started bubbling in one spot, in just one spot on the socket. That could have been the issue. So this time I'm gonna keep it in the ultrasonic cleaner a little longer, but there is a downside of that, because if I keep it for too long, I can damage the board. So it's kind of a, I typically do like 18 minutes to like 22 minutes. And that's usually the socket looks good, but you would have to kind of heat it up to confirm that there's no more flux. And if you heat it up and you see that there's still something bubbling in it, there's still flux. So back to the ultrasonic cleaner you go. But again, you can damage other components. You can knock off some small components off the board. It's risky to keep it for too long. So it needs to be relatively precisely calculated how long you want to keep it in the cleaner. But this is it. We're gonna wait a little longer for it to cool down. It's at let's see, the bed is at 110, the board is at 58 degrees still. I'm gonna wait until it goes to down to 45, because that's the temperature of the ultrasonic cleaner that I use. Maybe I should, well, it goes high once you turn on the cleaner. The temperature rises again, so it might go all the way to like 65. That's usually the highest temperature I use. We'll clean it, send it back, and hopefully this time it will work. If this was a socket issue. Otherwise, it's gonna behave the same. Thank you guys very much for watching. I do appreciate you, and I shall see you in the next one.